Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing selections for Cheltenham for day 4 on Friday, the 14th of March. Well, disappointing day again, but a frustrating day because if only I listened to myself sometimes and actually did what I said. At the beginning of the week, I said to keep an eye on Nicky Henderson in the handicaps. Not only do I overlook him, he gets first and second in the race. Donny the Great first and second with Jericho to whatever. Yeah, that horse. Jericho de Repine. So I followed JJ Slevin, and I think that'll be the final time I follow him. I'm not saying he gave every horse a bad ride, but certainly the first selection was absolutely dreadful. And I don't mean the horse, I mean the positioning sense of the jockey. Far too much to do. I tell you what, keep an eye on that. I won't say next. Well, keep an eye on it because it's far better than that, and you might actually get a decent price next time. Maybe whether it's Aintree, Punchestown, I don't know. But was it called Galileo Dame? I think it was called. Anyway, let's get into Friday selections, and I'll start again. I like the look of these, and I shall briefly explain why. So, excuse me. So what I've had is it's a 10 pence each way, lucky 63. And then I've also got it was a £10 free bet, so I've literally had 33 pence each way doubles to spend the entire lot. So the first selection is in the Triumph Hurdle, and it is Hello Neighbour in the 120 at Cheltenham, paying 4 places instead of 3. I liked how this horse travelled when it ran and won, and it beat Galileo Dame. It was a bit of a bunch finish, but this horse travelled really well, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of pace on tomorrow with East India Dock in the race. This horse will travel well. I just hope it's not too much of a. I don't know if you can remember back to a horse called Archibald, where it didn't find a great deal off the bridle. That wasn't the word I'm looking for. Off the bit. That might be it. Um, so I'm expected to travel really well and bring it into the race. I think 11-2 is a generous price at the moment. I do think there's another one in the race that has also got a chance. So if 11-2 is a little bit short for you, what I would say is I do think the William Mullins horse called. I didn't want that. There we go. Right. No, I'm on the right page. Um, sorry. I do think Lady Vega Allen's got a bit of a squeak. I can't have Mondo Man, so I'll eliminate that. Um, I think the first two are very strong. Obviously, clearly they can't decide between them, but it's a very competitive race. Lulamba, don't get me wrong, it won well last time, but it's still about reputation at the moment. East India Dock has got the form in the book, absolutely solid. Um, it's the obvious winner, East India Dog, if Lalamba doesn't run up to the reputation that it's being given. There are some dangers, like I said. Hello Neighbour is definitely one of them, and I think that Lady Vega Allen is also another one. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the channel, normally my alternatives run better than my actual selections. Um, yeah, so Hello Neighbour in the 120 at Cheltenham, unbeaten, travels well, and should hopefully canter into the race. The next selection is Irish Panther in the 2 o'clock in the Cheltenham County Hurdle, paying 6 places instead of 4. So this horse is about 16-1. I looked at the jockey, his name's something like Cian Cullinan, something like that. Cian Cullinan, crikey, I remember that. So the trainer, Eddie, or trainers Eddie and Patrick Harty, This horse was trained by Edward O'Grady. Didn't do a great deal for that trainer, and it had quite a few runs for that trainer. But it did very well at the beginning of its career on the National Hunt Flat circuit. Didn't do a great deal over hurdles, but since its two runs for this stable, it seems to have like eliminated some of its jumping in issues. It's ran much better the last two times, and it's now got first time head. I think it's hood and tongue strap. It's not the first time it's wore them both, but it's the first time it's wore them both on the same day. I think this also got a chance. I looked at the key and Cullinan angle, and he actually rode, I believe, in Ireland yesterday. So the jockey, he rode a good race on. I think it was at 8 to 1 in its last four rides. It What I normally look for is there's normally a positive and a minus figure beside the horse's name, which is the racing post rating. And some of his horses at big prices have ran in a positive figure, which means basically it ran above itself. So it was a poor horse, but I always look at that as in like the jockey gave it a good ride. So I'm thinking this horse is more than good enough value. I do believe claims the 7. The third selection is She Could Be Anything in the 240 at Cheltenham. It's in the Mare's Chase. I've basically gone for this because I was looking for an outsider. I couldn't find one because the angles weren't positive for me. And the reason why they weren't is because there's an awful lot of horses that have been mixing hurdles, or I think there's even one selection that I'm sure it's the first time of offences. I might be wrong, but there's too much recent hurdle form for me to be picking an outsider based on that. So I've gone for She Could Be Anything. I actually think it's something like 14s. It's got an awful lot of experience over chase fences, and I just think this horse's jumping could stand up to scrutiny rather than some of the more fancied ones when push comes to shove. Don't get me wrong, it's first three, and I do believe this is 14 to 1, so it's a bit of a fingers crossed, but I do think experience will count on its side, and it's Gordon Elliott and Sam Ewing. Not, I don't think I've backed to Sam Ewing horse this Cheltenham yet, but this is my first, and I'll judge him. The next selection is Jasmine DeVoe in the 320 at Cheltenham in the outlet. Albert Bartlett, Novices Hurdle, paying 5 places instead of 3. This horse, as you're well aware, won the Champion Bumper. Finished very strongly. Coolio, don't know why I said that. Romeo Coolio finished second that race. Ran a decent race in the very first race of the meeting for a very long way. I think Jasmine DeVoe, like I said, probably even on the Tuesday, a lot of the horses that run in the Champion Bumper need a lot further. Well, this is going from 2 mile in the Champion Bumper. It now tackles 2 miles, 7.5 furlong for the first time. And I think stepping up in trip, like it has done in the last few races, it is liking that. When I scrolled down, I thought, God, what price is it? It's not as big as price as I thought. It was 17 to 2, but the amount of scrolling that I did to get to it, I thought, oh, this is 1620s, but it isn't. It's currently 17 to 2. I think stamina is this horse's forte, and I think it's got an element of class in what is a decent race, but this horse potentially. Don't get me wrong, it's going back to Cheltenham, and it's got Cheltenham form, which I like, although it's not over jumps. So I like Jasmine DeVoe. I think it's got a solid chance. The fifth selection is in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and the selection is Corbett's Cross in the 4 o'clock at Cheltenham. So the reason I've gone for this is because the times it's ran at Cheltenham, it's ran very well. Stamina is not an issue, but don't get me wrong, stamina is not an issue for an awful lot of them. Some of them, it's consistency and current form that is missing from a lot of the horses. I like Corbett's Cross because it brings Cheltenham form to the table and it's solid. Even the 3 mile 6.5 chase that it ran in, there were horses like I can't remember if Henry's Friend got a place. It did in the end on the first day. Henry's Friend pulled up in Corbett Cross's race at Cheltenham over 3 mile 6.5 furlong. Mr. Van Gogh has done very well since. And there were several others that have all done well. I think, is it called Applesauce? That horse has done well since. Don't get me wrong, they're not all Gold Cup contestants, but it shows me that Corbett's Cross form over 3 miles 6.5 furlong, which was obviously 3.5. What did I say? 3 miles 6.5, 4.5 furlong further than today's trip. It won't be. It shouldn't be slowing down at the end. It should be. Its stamina should kick in, and I like the fact that it's JP McManus, and I think it's got a solid chance. I'm sure it's about 16 to 1. I think that's a bit bonkers, to be fair. And finally, I tell you what, probably out of all the selections, I like this one the most. So it's What a Glance in the 440 at Cheltenham, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse has got Cheltenham form, but it's a bit hard to read. It absolutely hacked up off a rating. It wasn't a handicap, but a rating of 99, and it posted a Racing Post rating of 131. So it absolutely ran above itself. And I'm hoping that that's because it absolutely loves Cheltenham. Well, I might be wrong, but this horse, I haven't got a clue who the trainer is. I don't know here if but it keeps swapping trainers on the Racing Post form. It says Thomas Britton gone to Tom Britton, Tom Britton gone to Thomas Britton, Thomas Britton gone to. I don't know whether it's father and son. I don't know if it's the same person keep changing his name. I haven't got a clue, but it's been point to pointing. And Mr. Toby McCain Mitchell, I do believe, is he the apprentice stable jockey now of Nigel Twiston Davis. I think it's a good booking. If Toby McCain Mitchell is who I think he is the stable jockey to Twiston Davis. Twiston Davis I'm sure, will have given the jockey the heads up about Cheltenham. Just the fact that he's a stable jockey, he would have drilled it into him and told him everything about Cheltenham. Because Twiston Davis is very familiar with Cheltenham. So hopefully this jockey, if it is that jockey, which I'm sure it is, if this jockey brings this to the table, the knowledge of Cheltenham, I think he can give this horse the ride that it deserves. And I do believe. Let me check for you. I should tell you the exact price, so I'm not guessing. You're actually even money favourite now, right? Slap it with well. There you go. It was 33, 25, 22s. It's now 20 to 1, but it could be any price on the day. The original one that I fancied was All Mankind, because I think. Right, you might be able to forget that. I'm guessing that must be. I thought originally that was James Owen, but it says Mrs. J Owen. I'm wondering because of the Gredley colours, that is also. I'm guessing that's the. It could be James Owen's missus. Well, he's come onto the scene massively. So originally I was going to pick All Mankind. So if you do fancy All Mankind, I don't want to put you off it. Very, very experienced jockey. Mr. Alex Chadwick is now pretty much riding as a professional. He's riding a lot of the James Owen horses. I'm wondering if I don't know if you're coming back. Can you remember the jockey? And I don't know why. I always put myself in this position where I can never remember the jockey's name. The jockey who was very very well known with the brown colours. I don't know why I put myself in this position. He won the Grand National. Sam Whaley Cohen, and he could only ride so many times a year, and I can't remember exactly why. And I seem to think this is the race, and I'm thinking Mr. Alex Chadwick has run an awful lot on the rules. I don't know if the actual classes them as too experienced if they ride too often on the rules. I can't remember, but I always remember Sam Whaley Cohen only be able to ride something like 7 or 11. I don't think it was 7 or 11 times. I think it was 7 or 11 winners. So I'm thinking that Mr. Alex Chadwick has had plenty of rides on the professional scene, and he must have done well to get below that. But anyway, waffling now. So as I said, just give me 1 second. I'm going to put them two in a forecast as well. 50p forecast. It's probably a throwaway pound, but 50p reverse forecast. All Mankind and What a Dance. And there you can see the 33 pence each way doubles to get rid of the free bet. Exactly the same horses. So I wish the very best of luck. Let's have a bit of luck on this last day, or a lot of luck. Give this video a like if you will, please. I really appreciate it. And if you only come for the big meetings, Click subscribe, and there will be selections for the Grand National. So well, on the day. I wish the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.